Hi guys, Dr. Tony here. I wanted to talk to you about, you know, my life in the past when it comes to my health and things that I didn't do that I should have done and I regret not doing, and things that I did that I regret doing, and how that has affected my health, now in my 60s. And so I want to share that with you. So I started thinking about, guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and then 60s, and what that should look like. Like, what's the game plan? Who should you be working with as far as health professionals are concerned? And what are the things that should you be doing at that time? So some of them are going to be pretty obvious for you guys, but I still want to talk about them because they're really, really important. So let's just start off in our 30s. So, when I was in my 30s, I was invincible. Like, nothing could go wrong. And I was just starting my career, and, had stressful 20s going through college and then getting married and starting a family in my early 30s and so forth. So, I wasn't thinking much about my health, and I wasn't really eating well, wasn't really working out because I was kind of tired of working out, playing college football and playing football since I was like 8 years old, going to practice. I just, wasn't in the mood. So I wasn't consistent with my workouts. Diet was just kind of all over the place. Certainly didn't know then what I know now about the importance of food and diet and macronutrients and micronutrients and all those things. So, life was just, go to work, come home, have fun, have a glass of wine, have a beer, talk to the wife, play with the kids, whatever, and not really focus on health because I was healthy. I was in my 30s. Like, what could be wrong with me? So, what are the things I would have done in my 30s if I had the information that I have now? Well, the first thing I would have done is I would have started working with, a primary care physician or a functional medicine physician. Back then, functional medicine was not even heard of, at least in my realm, my neck of the woods. But getting some basic labs done, like my lipid profile, including ApoB, um, getting a gut profile, some type of stool testing, mental health assessment, just to kind of see where I was, making sure that I also had a community of like-minded men to talk to hang with, and not just going out partying or whatever, to hang with, and whether it be your church or a club or something where you can talk about the issues that are affecting men today. I really didn't do that in my 30s. I was kind of on my own and just kind of working and so forth. So that mental health capacity, that check-in with other men, having a mentor. I certainly lacked a mentor back in my 30s. I thought that was very important. So you can tie this all together. Maybe that's one person in your life, or maybe that's several different types of professionals. In my eyes, right now would be a functional medicine physician that takes the whole body, the whole person into consideration, and not just separating the parts. Allopathic physicians kind of separate parts. You go to a cardiologist and your primary care and your enterologist and all these things, and they don't talk to each other. So you need someone that can tie things together for you and guide you. So that's where a functional medicine physician comes in. That's what I do. I want to help you bring all the pieces together, make sure that you're covering all the important health issues that you need to cover in your age group. So, having those baseline tests, and when you come back in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, we can track progress of disease, or if there's a genetic predisposition, we can be checking in on that on a regular basis. So, really, really important that you have that person to work with. Things to eliminate or to avoid, in your 30s, you definitely want to limit your alcohol intake. And I know back then I didn't think much about it. Just, whenever I want to have a drink, or just kind of have a drink and go out on Friday night or Saturday night, go out to dinner, whatever, and have a few drinks. No big deal. But it is a big deal. Nowadays, drugs, even though when I was in my 30s, drugs were rampant and everywhere, they seem to be even more prevalent today. Vaping, smoking, you know, drugs, are just out there. And, some of those drugs obviously can kill you instantly just with one use. So you want to be avoiding those drugs. And I think guys turn more to alcohol and drugs when their mental capacity, maybe they have more depression or anxiety. So that mental capacity is just, you're really struggling. And I think nowadays, men in your 30s, it's really hard for you guys. There's a lot of mental illness, men in their 30s, a lot of depression going on, many factors that involve that. And that's where functional medicine come in and help you. And that doesn't mean you don't need psychological help or therapy or anything like that. We can work together with those professionals along with, the functional medicine aspect of it and getting to the root cause. Maybe it's a gut issue, maybe it's an infection, maybe it's a lack of exercise, it's poor diet, it's all those things combined. So those are areas in our 30s where we really want to be, aggressive and using a preventative approach, getting the information about your body where you're at then. So again, we can come back to it later in life and see if there's a progression of any type of metabolic diseases going on, like heart disease, cardiovascular illnesses, diabetes, if there's obesity and weight issues, things like that. And obviously that mental aspect that we talked about. So that's kind of in our 30s. And in our 40s, life's changing. You're more into your career, and things are maybe settling in with your family and things like that. However, there's a lot more stress in our 40s, right? Because now we have that family, perhaps we have children, and they're growing up and they have needs, and we have a lot of financial stresses. Again, the physical health kind of gets put on the back burner. At least it did for me in my 40s. So I was building a career, building a business, and really, again, not focused on my health too much. Starting to see changes in my body, obviously, that I didn't like, but really not motivated to do much about it. I really don't have a reason why. Maybe you have some reasons why, and you want to talk to your physician about that. But here's where you really want to get into the labs and checking cholesterol and blood sugar levels, making sure you're getting enough sleep, looking at your genetics and those predispositions that, may be hampering you, in your life. So really, really important. Again, the mental aspect, again, with all the stress, there's a lot of depression and so forth with men, and anxiety, just because we're, most of the time the breadwinners, perhaps, or, significant secondary income you need to bring in. And again, raising a family, some of you guys are stay-home dads and so forth, and commend you for that. But you're still supporting your family and you still have those needs. So, lowering your saturated fats when it comes to diet, again, alcohol and drugs, just eliminating those as much as you can. Sleeping 7 to 9 hours, so very important. I did not sleep regularly when I was in my 40s. Working with that functional medicine doctor again, so we can go back and say, hey, look, in the 30s, here's where your blood sugar was, here's where your lipids were, here's where your liver enzymes were, and things like that, and saying, hey, is there a progression here? Do we see more inflammation? Are you having more symptoms, digestive symptoms, inability to sleep, erectile dysfunction? I should have mentioned that in their 30s, because there's 30% of men have erectile dysfunction events in their 30s, and it kind of goes by age, by decade, 40% in their 40s, 50% in their 50s, and so forth. So, is that starting to happen? Are you starting to notice those changes? And if you are, then you really, really need to look at working with a functional medicine doctor. Also getting your eyes checked and having a good dentist that you can work with. So important to have good eyesight, obviously, eye health and dental health, particularly in our 40s, obviously all times in life, but particularly then. And then in our 50s, things are getting even, more complicated with health because the body is changing. But then some of the stress is starting to go away a little bit. Maybe the kids are grown, they're out of the house, they're creating their own life, and you and your significant other, wife and or spouse, can settle in, kind of focus more on you. So I find men in their 50s are getting a little bit more focused on self-care and their health, and getting really serious, limiting those things that get in the way of health, and increasing those things that help us to build a strong, healthy body. And that excites me when guys of any age do that. But I tend to see more of it, more towards the mid 40s to mid 50s is when guys start to take it very seriously. Don't wait that long, but it's just fun to work with you guys at that point. So there we want to be comparing our lipid profile and our A1C and blood sugar levels and genetics, and see if those predispositions are coming to fruition as far as genetics are concerned, or are you doing a great job with that and avoiding some of those things that we found in your genetic profile. So 50s is a time to really get serious before we run out of time, but it's also a wonderful time of life where you start to have a little bit less stress. Then in our 60s, it's time to start to really relax and enjoy life, but we want to prepare for our 60s and our 70s in our 30s. That's the time to do that, not waiting till we're in our 50s or in our 60s. We want to start preparing early. So when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 40s, when you're in your 50s, 35 to 50, 35 to 45, that is the time to really, really get serious. Find yourself a functional medicine doctor. Of course, I would love to be that guy for you. Develop a relationship. Let them guide you through the process. We have knowledge. We can guide you. We can, help you decide what tests you should see, what other medical professionals you should be working with. We want to work with these other professionals. I work with my cardiologists. We talk, frequently about my test and what I should be doing. And I've shared that with you on other videos, but really important to have that guy that you can fall back on, that can help you through these situations, that has the knowledge, the expertise, and has been there. I'm in my 6th, so I've been there for 30 some years, working on my health, helping my family do that, helping my patients do that, thousands of patients do that. So I would love to help you. So anyway, at the bottom of this video, there's ways you can get in touch with me. We have a free Facebook group, Mastering Men's Health, that you can join. And there's great information on there, and a community of like-minded men that you can get feedback from. If you're ready to take that big step and you want to get serious, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or 60s, then there's a link down there to get a free discovery call with me. Just click on that link. It'll send you right to my schedule, and you can book a call, and we'll just talk about the possibilities, what's, taking vitality out of your life, where you're struggling, the questions that you have, like what do you do next? Who do you turn to? What plan do we need to put together to help you create that life that you're looking for and that you desire to have? So don't wait. Click on one of those links right now, whatever fits you best, and let's get started on that. All right, guys, have a great day.